You are listening to Here Before, Here Now, an Arizona's Family Originals podcast.
Hey guys, thanks for joining us for another episode of Here Before, Here Now. Hopefully you're able to take a look at the last previous episodes. 2025 has been pretty great for this show. We've been able to get interviews booked left and right, and we have some more in the pipeline. And I'm pretty excited to talk to you about my next guest. His name is Shuuluk. And Shuuluk is a young talent. Right now, he is currently at ASU studying law. He's in law school, but he also had graduated from ASU previously. And we're talking to him today because he played an important role in this short film called Haagua. He'll probably check me on that, on the pronunciation of it in just a bit. But basically, it's a short film that details indigenous practices of surfing and also the importance of water. And it's coming from an organization that really amplifies these cultural practices and also really talks about and highlights the importance of water and the practices that indigenous people still practice to this day when it comes to this. And so, Shuuluk, thank you so much for being here today.
Thank you for having me, Colton, and good on the pronunciation.
Okay, great. Haagua and Shuuluk.
Yes,
okay.
Both stellar.
Right. So introduce yourself to me, like tell me where you're from and, just about the documentary or the film.
Haagua in Shuuluk Leo-Retz, Matamai Kwapai Matarwa, Matamai Ipai Tipai, Hamai Nya, Sesniin Nya Pio. In my native language, Kumeyaay, I introduced myself. My name is Shuuluk Leo-Retz. I'm the great-grandson to Joseph Mueller and Margaret Dorr Pico Largo, both from Viejas. Grandson to Peter Leo from San Isabel Band of Kumeyaay Indians and Barbara Leo, Viejas Band of Kumeyaay Indians, and son to Aletha Leo, Simeon Retz. I am from what is traditionally referred to as our village Matarwa, now formerly known as Viejas. And I am Ipai and Tipai. My grandpa's side is my grandma's side has Tipai as well, but Ipai and Tipai are the two regions of Kumeyaay, the northern and the southern, historically referred to as the northern and southern Degeno.
Okay.
Yeah.
And this is located in Southern California then, correct?
Southern California, spanning all the way into Baja California.
Okay. What's amazing is, obviously I'm Navajo, you know this, and I've spent a lot of my career working in Arizona and New Mexico. So, obviously I've always been familiar with the native tribes in State 48 in Arizona. And then when I moved to New Mexico, it was a completely different landscape. They have their 19 pueblos and other tribes as well. And so I'm not too familiar with many of the tribes in California. So when I was reading your bio and what you were just telling me now, it's just, there's so many tribes out there.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like when you tell people about your ancestry and your lineage and your tribal affiliations, what are some of the questions you get?
Particularly in San Diego, growing up, it was like I didn't even know there was tribes out here.
Sure.
And it's really interesting because San Diego County has 18 federally recognized Indian tribes.
Wow. See, I didn't even know that.
Yes, that's the most in any county in the United States.
Oh my gosh. Well, when you do drive through San Diego, it's like you do drive through these reservations, and it's like you drive through, and it's like within a minute you're like out of them.
Yeah.
So are they just much smaller in terms of like land mass and tribal affiliation in terms of numbers?
Yeah, I would say that's particularly true with Southern California tribes. Our numbers, if we're hitting 1,000, that's like big for us, right? As enrolled members. My tribe has around 330.
Okay.
I believe there's some tribes with as little as 50. Other tribes, in Palm Springs, same kind of numbers floating around there. So yeah, it is, different when, people are like, oh yeah, I've driven through Morongo, or I've driven through Pechanga, or, these tribes that are on the way to Palm Springs, or these tribes that are on the way to Temecula or whatnot. And, they don't really realize that they're within, reservation boundaries.
That's so incredible. We were just in Southern California. We drove through Palm Springs, we always do, a couple weeks ago. And there was one reservation, I don't remember the name of it, but we literally drove through, the sign said entering the X reservation. And then 30 seconds later, we left it.
Right.
Yeah. So I was so curious about it, because I don't really have many like contacts who are from those tribes or in that area.
Yeah, it's super. I mean, Palm Springs is, and the Agua Caliente band, it's really interesting how they have their setup. It's a checkerboard reservation. So you can be in the heart of downtown, technically be on reservation boundaries,
wow.
as defined, in the colloquial legal text.
Sure.
But, no one would realize that, right? So growing up, there was that, I guess, idea of, understanding that I was from my respective tribal nation. And then also, that juxtaposed with the people's understanding of, the outside world looking in and them seeing us as, Native American in the sense that, they usually have the pictured idea, the Hollywood pictured idea that our tribes would be much bigger or our land would be much more spread out or something. It's a weird concept to drive into Palm Springs.
Sure.
And not realize
it's so interesting.
Yeah,
definitely.
You're
That's the number
land.
too in that concentrated area. It's fascinating. We can go on and on and on about this stuff, I'm sure.
Right.
But we're going to talk about this short film, Haagua.
Yes.
Okay. What is Haagua about, and what's your role?
Yes. So my role within Haagua is a cast member, a lead cast role. I've been surfing. I actually grew up in Hawaii. We went out there with my mom when I was 6 months old for her to finish her degree at HPU. And over there at HPU, 4 years turned into 8. So I got a good foundation for surfing and a good foundation for my connection with the water. And then I came out when I was 8 years old back to the reservation. Long story short, Mark ended up kind of recruiting me in a way, talked to my mom when I was 14, joined the program. From there, it was I was always connected with the program Native Like Water, and then started discussing this, and he thought, if you could help with this, it'd be awesome. And I was like, free surf trips? Are you kidding me?
Yeah,
of course.
right.
And so Haagua is, very much the same concept, or perhaps my interpretive nature, with the title of this podcast. It's, here before, here now. And that really is what we're trying to highlight within the film Haagua. Whether it's many coastal communities, if not all coastal indigenous communities, have had a connection, whether that be informed through their culture, their trade, their recreation, or their farming. We've had that connection with the water, and for many generations we've been pushed away from that, trying to by forces that are trying to eliminate that connection. But it's always within us, and we hear it within our bird songs, we hear it within our creation stories, and we're reminded of that connection that we have towards these areas of the coast that we aren't necessarily visiting as much as we were back then. So the movie is really a highlight to that, or speaking to that, that connection that we find within our stories, the connection that we find within our prayer, the connection that we find within our songs. And, we hear that, and, the vitalization of being in the water is also like that rebirth, that recognition of that.
Yeah, across Indian country, you'll see a lot of sign that there says water is life, and it's true, right?
It really is true.
I mean, we're like made 80% of water. We need water to live, so it seems like something that everyone should, or at least should be held sacred.
Yeah. No, I definitely agree with that. It's it's indisputably sacred, and I think our relationship with the nature of water has always been held to that regard. We've had that reverence for it, and I think that's how it's played out within our American history as well. It's
everyone's always fighting over water rights.
Always fighting over water rights.
Like allocation of water, even to this day, here into the Phoenix area. So absolutely, I mean, it goes back and continues, I'm sure, in the future. So the film is going to premiere at the Phoenix Film Festival this weekend. It's going to have several showings. You've seen it, at least a rough cut of it. I've seen the trailer. It looks beautifully shot. I wish I was able to check it out before this, but for people who are just kind of like not really, they see Haagua and you want them to come watch it. What's your pitch? Like, why do people need to see this?
I would say it's important to understand our relation within our relation as Indigenous people to the land around us, how we make relations with it. And within the contemporary context of today, I think surfing and instruments to that end that reconnect us to our water sources and to that understanding can revitalize and reamp that understanding that history has written off, that we are still connected to these areas. And whether that be through, surfing or fishing or going to the beach, and sunbathing, I think there is a sacred memory that is felt when we're doing that. And these are our answers to our ancestors' prayer.
Yeah. I mean, when I was reading more about this film, I mean, I get it does make sense. I didn't realize this, or at least think about it much, but surfing is something that's been going on for a long time with these tribes, especially that live close to waters. I didn't realize it was a huge cultural practice.
Yeah, I can't trace any history that I found of my respective tribal nation to surfing. But, I've been asked the question, do you think they surfed? And I was like, if there's a wave, come on, like someone had to have, tried. And
Sure.
and I know we use tule boats a lot, which is it's a type of material that is used for our hunting and for travel purposes. And the easiest way, if you've ever been kayaking, to come in is to surf a wave in. And so, I imagine
right?
Yeah,
Especially in Hawaii, like when you were out there. I mean,
Yeah.
I don't know if like the locals there, or the people who locals to the land, did they ever talk about how this was something that they might have done like a long time ago?
in Hawaii.
Yeah.
Yeah. And there's
indigenous populations out there.
yeah, there's a wide scope of understanding and history that can substantiate that understanding and that connection that they've had through surfing.
Yeah.
And it's amazing.
That is so cool.
It's one of my favorite things to read about.
It's amazing. I'm like getting flashbacks of, I don't know how old you are, but when I was a kid, Johnny Tsunami was a Disney movie that I watched many times before. So tell me about yourself. I mean, you're in law school now. What exactly are you studying, and what do you hope to do afterwards?
Yeah, I'm in law school now at Sandra Day O'Connor. I'm in the Indian law program.
My sister did that.
Yeah, right on.
Yeah,
What was her name?
Her name's Autumn, and
Autumn.
she does work in federal Indian law right now too. So
Perfect.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, that's exactly the route I want to go down is federal Indian law. It's a umbrella term or a blanket term. And so I have yet to define my where I want to go in, but land
Sure.
conservancy, water issues, and tribal rights, whether that be through gaming or land conservancy, is something that's in I pick up on.
it seems like environmental rights or laws or missions, from the outsider looking in, it seems like it's always an uphill battle.
Yeah.
What would make you want to go into those hard fights? I'm just curious.
Well, yeah, I think we have to acknowledge that it is an uphill battle. That's important too. It's also important to hold our partners accountable, and whether that be the local municipals, the states, or the federal government. We're all in here for that shared future. And I think in the environmental legal context, it's very apparent that collaboration needs to happen. And so I guess that perhaps is a driving force behind why I want to get into this realm of laws, because it is not only for our people, but it's for the people of our shared future. It's for all of America, if you will.
Do you see yourself going back to California afterwards, or?
Hopefully,
Okay.
Hopefully I'll go back to California. I eventually want to return to my tribe and
Yeah.
and try to offer what I've learned and reciprocate what they've given me back to them. But, ultimately, I don't know where I'll end up right now. And,
Sure.
I'm a first year law student, so I'm like
Oh,
grabbing at
wow.
every opportunity,
Sure.
for legal advice and understanding and
Oh.
trying to carve out that path.
So you're in it then. I hear
I'm
that
in it, yeah.
it's really intense the first year.
Yeah, no, it's a great opportunity,
Yeah.
and it definitely has come with like a lot of change just for me for my daily schedules and stuff. But
Mhm.
it's a blessing to be a part of it, and I was thankful to have opportunities like Haagua to be able to participate in for almost 2 years
Oh,
before
wow.
I
Well,
before I
okay.
ended up going into law school.
That's amazing.
So it was great.
It always seems like these short films are always just like a labor of love. Like it requires a lot of people, sacrificing a lot of time and resources to do what they do, but it's because they love it.
Yeah, yeah. My grandma always says you have to approach everything with strength of heart and goodness of soul.
Mhm.
And that was so apparent within the making of this movie, or of this film rather. And I think from what I've heard, it's been received in that same way of yes, this is something that needs to be put out on a platform and broadcasted in that way, so
Mhm.
that we can express and feel that strength of heart and goodness of soul.
Do you feel like there's more like Indigenous voices coming out and, putting out projects like this that, that maybe we haven't seen before?
Yeah, I think for sure, like empirically, and also just within my own respective nation. I'm seeing my cousins and whatnot making branding shirts, doing these things.
Mhm.
Beadwork that's picking up on social media, stuff like that. And I think any expression to that end is like golden.
Yeah.
And it's definitely we're having in a healthier position to be able to express that. So it's good.
So from your tribe, how do you, before you leave, you got to teach me how to say something. How do you say hello? My name is, and yeah, I'm just curious.
Yeah. I may not have even gone over that. So
Yeah.
Hauka is hello.
Hauka.
Yes.
Okay.
And so if you wanted to say my name is, it would be Inya Colton
Oh.
Chich, which is like my
And
name,
Colton
and
the
then
Chich.
Colton is.
Oh,
Yeah,
that's
so it's
amazing.
like, yeah,
That's so cool.
So the conjugations of everything, I've yet to understand my sister's
Sure.
way better, but
Yeah.
I'm doing my best to
Definitely.
continue to pick up our language because it's so vital.
Yeah, that's amazing. Well, Shuuluk, thank you so much for being here, talking about your podcast, your project, and your film. I can't wait to see it. I know that there's some showings happening this weekend,
Yes.
but it's kind of on the circuit right now, festivals all over, I'm sure.
Yeah, internationally. Just
Yeah.
did the Paris, and then we got
Oh, wow.
Seattle in April, and
Okay.
then we have 5 more in Mexico going on around this time.
So you went to Paris for?
No.
Oh, you didn't go?
No,
Okay.
this is the only one I've been able to go.
Okay.
Unfortunately, the schedule doesn't
Yeah.
allow.
Man, wow, that's incredible. Well, do you foresee yourself doing any more film projects in the future, or is this
Yeah.
kind of up in the air?
Yeah, hopefully. I actually just finished another one called The Inevitable Return, which is explores the relationship between military encroachment on coastal areas and
Mm.
indigenous communities, and the effect that it has had on them and their place within it now and reclaiming.
Right, because when we hear about the stories, we hear about the generational effects that it has on the people. So I'm sure that's kind of what you touch on this project.
Yeah, and that one, it's probably a year out from now, but
Wow.
we're getting
Okay.
there.
So first year law school student, and then also film star, and also making another film. You got your hands full.
Yeah, thankfully.
Yeah. Awesome. Well, Shuuluk, thank you so much for stopping by and talking to me about this project. It's so interesting. I could talk to you for like ever because it's just, it's so new. The information is new to me. You know what I mean? So it's like getting yourselves out there, and hopefully that's why you listen to this podcast as well, to hear different perspectives and also find something else that's different in your own backyard. Because, like as Shuuluk had mentioned, people in San Diego are like, whoa, there are tribes here? Like, yeah, there are 570 federally recognized tribes all across the country, even more states with state recognition. So we'll continue to bring on these interesting voices. If you have any more ideas of guests or topics, drop me a line, colton.shone@azfamily.com. Until next time, see you then.
You are listening to Here Before, Here Now, an Arizona's Family Originals podcast.